the time. Extra lit, extra lit, extra lit. Big Cali world all the time. Extra lit, extra lit, extra lit. Big Cali world all the time. Extra lit, extra lit, extra lit. Big Cali world all the time. Extra lit, extra lit, extra lit.
It's the man with the plan. I ain't Clark Kent, but some of the ladies do call me Superman. It's your boy, Big Cali. Feeling good, feeling great as usual up here at Element Recording Studios in Pomona. Cast ones on the ones and twos.
Yo, happy New Year.
Hey, yeah, happy New Year to you too, man. This is definitely the first episode of the new year, man. Feeling good, feeling great as usual. And, man, we got another special guest here today. Someone, honestly, I feel I've known you for a while. But recently, I finally got to actually talk to you and get to know you. And I was like, you're so interesting. Your whole life and what you do, your story and what you were talking to me about. I was like, you have to come on the podcast. I'm going to let you just talk, go ahead. But this is NIkki, dear friend of mine. We here, man, feeling good. And she definitely does a lot of great things, and not only in the entertainment industry, but I just want to say even in, let's just say literature, because you write. You're really a writer.
Literature, sure. Yeah.
Is that too deep?
I mean, the hotels will say that I should hold my work in as much esteem as the colonial masters. So, yes, literature.
Right. Well, man.
Did I get that right?
Yeah. That felt good. That felt great. No, even if you didn't, I loved it. It sounded amazing. It sounded official to me.
So literature it is.
I love it. But but when we were talking about it then, it was my boy Westside Todd's birthday, Capricorn season. Shout out. He up in the building too, chilling. And we were just chilling, talking at the table. I don't even know how the conversation started. But we literally, where you were telling me about how you basically started doing screenplays and writing scripts for different shows.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's something I've always wanted to do. Like randomly, I was like, I always wanted to do that. But I was like, I don't know no one who does that. You don't just, at least in the IE or like where I'm at, you don't just meet people who are just writing for actual shows that we could watch, like on television, on the internet, on TV, whatever. So what, if you don't tell the people what you do or like, basically break it down.
Yeah, I think who knows a screenwriter that isn't a rich white person, honestly.
Exactly.
So
that's why it was like a shock to me. I didn't want to say that, but it was a shock. Like, what?
No, but I for the past 3 years I've lived in LA. I have been writing for animated TV shows for Adult Swim and now Netflix, and like, yeah. Damn. It's pretty it. It's not like
dope.
It's really I know it's really dope, but it boils down to like 3 sentences every time.
Yeah, but you're a part of the process of making show. You've seen quote unquote the magic happen.
Yeah, of course. I definitely have seen the magic happen.
How did you get into that? Like, how did it even start? Or like, did you go to school for this? Or like, were you like, I want to be a screenwriter for a TV show as a kid? Like, how did it all start?
I mean, I always wanted to make I always wanted to write a book and make a film. I just always felt like the older I got, the more I believed in the stories that I could tell. And writing as something I've been doing since I was a child, and have kind of been really nurtured in doing since I was a kid. And
where are you from? Where'd you grow up at?
I grew up in Brooklyn. So I grew up in Brooklyn, and I lived out of the country for a little while when I was a kid. I lived in Haiti, where my family's from, and I just basically like really learned to read at an early age, and I like read a lot of books, and I tried to write poetry when I was a kid, and I used to do that, and like, but I just so happened to go to schools where there was always like a teacher who usually someone black who like really nurtured and fostered my writing ability. And one of the things that like my teachers always kind of told me to focus on was my anecdotal ability, which is just my ability to tell a story and to empathize with other people and their stories. So naturally that always led me, as someone who wanted to be to be creative, to want to like be able to tell stories in a certain way. And so I thought about like writing a film or like whatever. I think I've even talked to Ty about like making music. Like I was just like,
you just knew you wanted to write something.
Yeah, something to the point of just getting like my thoughts out to the world. And I've gone through different sections of that, but the rest of it, TLDR, this shit was fortuitous, honestly. And I had this crazy Twitter that I've had Twitter since like 2009. So
okay, so you were in it when it was like
I was in it when it was like
Twitter,
when it was like nothing. When people used to tweet at celebrities and get responses.
Yeah.
When it was a madhouse.
I'm about to say it was dark in those ages. That's when the real Twitter jokes, the real Twitter trolling was like, it wasn't even a troll term. It was just literally on Twitter going up.
It was awful, and I always thought the idea was dumb, but I joined it because it seemed like I was working in media and it seemed proper. But anyway, I've had this Twitter account for 10 years. So I started it when I was in college, when I didn't really have anything to worry about or care about dumping my opinions on the internet. And it just so happens that the creator of this show had followed me for a really long time and thought that my perspectives on the world and like the way that I told, he just thought my content was what he wanted to put on TV.
That's dope, but then that's
when they gave him a chance to put something on TV.
So a creator for a show or whatever, what show was it, if you don't mind asking?
Laser Wolf, yeah.
Oh, so this show, the Laser Wolf show that you're a part of.
Laser Wolf is the first show I ever did, and
that's on
Adult Swim.
Adult Swim, thank you.
And they just reached out to me like on LinkedIn, literally, and were like, "Do you want to write a show?" And Henry, the creator, said that he had just followed me on Twitter, and he always thought that like
he just found from there.
Yeah, he said he'd been.
What were you doing on Twitter? Like you were just.
I just spoke my opinions about things and my experience and whatever came into my head. Honestly, whatever came into my head, and I couldn't get in trouble for at work. Honestly.
I feel you. What were you actually?
But I still stretched the lines.
What were you doing before you were writing? Like, where were you working at? Where were you?
No, my first job out of college. I mean, I interned a lot in college.
What college did you go to?
I went to St. John's in Queens.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah, go. I don't know. I don't show. I don't know. Whatever. Go Red Storm, I guess.
What was your major?
Jesus Christ. So college is a racket, you know that. And you basically, it's like piecing together the bet from Uncut Gems. So
damn.
When I came out
that was
major,
heavy.
I don't even have like I graduated, like I crossed the stage, I did physically all of that. I paid the money, but I never went to pick up my degree, so I don't have like a physical. So like if I had to show physical proof that I went to college and paid the $100,000 that I did to go to college, then I would have to go back to my college and like ask someone to look for it for me.
Why you didn't get your diploma?
Because they said I had to go pick it up, and I wasn't going to Queens. I was done with that part of my life, honestly.
Damn.
At that point, I was like, yo, I just paid y'all so much money. Y'all can't put this shit in the mail. I gotta get on a train.
I feel you. Where were you at? A job. Where were you at? In comparison, like how far was? I was in Brooklyn.
It's like an hour and a half, 2 hour.
Damn.
Commute.
So that's like
even if you drive, it's like an hour. But yeah, I was like, no.
From LA to Palm Springs.
Yeah. It's not. Damn. Yeah, it's not. I wonder if it's probably not as far. Like
it just takes that long to get there.
But yeah, I wasn't going back. So in college I majored in, if I can remember correctly, international marketing and like finance.
Damn.
Something like that.
That sounds like actually legit.
I just wanted to learn how to sell people shit.
I'm about to say, like, what was your goal of it? Because you went to school for usually people go to college and they go there for the quote unquote degree.
I wanted to be a stylist. I wanted to move to Paris. I didn't really want to go to college. So when I was forced to go to college, I decided that I was going to just learn how to sell things to people and how to do it globally. Right. Because I am, a child of immigrants. So I always think about selling shit outside of.
Your peoples, all your families like from Haiti?
Yeah. So it's like, but they've lived all over the world. So I think about, there's so many different traditions that were kept up in my home, that when I was deciding like who I wanted to be in the world and how I wanted to tell stories, I was just like, yo, whatever's happening in the world right now, like all I know is that like kids are people are starting to want to tell stories, and like, it's like the same way that everybody looked at like Jay-Z and Diddy and was like, yo, oh my God, we could all get rich if we all just if we all rap, which is like literally worse than gambling, honestly. Like if you want to keep it real, like you probably have a better odds of going to Vegas and like sitting there and putting in like the work to try to make money, as much money as those guys rapping, because there's so much, you know what I mean? It's like there's not enough space for it's not like the industry is built for 100 billionaires. You know, it's built for a few people to be billionaires. That's the only way it works.
Niggas don't think about that though.
It's top heavy. And it's not to say that people shouldn't follow their dreams. It's just to say that like,
know what's up. Know the perspective. Know what you're getting into.
Are we all following our dreams?
Are we all?
Sometimes it feels like, you know, we're all scheming. But all of that is suffice to say that if these are the, I saw those people and I saw that they were getting rich, but what I really saw was that culture across the board was beginning to recognize the fact that culture came from the streets and it came from us. And like the worst thing you niggas did was let us into college. So like we got to college and we were like,
so we could jig like this. We could do this.
You read, but you also do shit that is like usually defined as ghetto too. Like, oh snap, like we connect even though we're from different parts of the world or different part of the United States.
Right.
Whereas like, and like, that's not to say college is the only way people did that. It's just to say that like a generation was coming out of that and kind of feeling like, what am I gonna do with my life? They telling me I'm not gonna get a job after I paid all these people to get money because I graduated in 2009, and it was like, I gotta figure out how to tell people my story.
The crash of the economy that whole time, and then you're in college.
So the whole time I was in college, I was just like, all I know is whatever I do, it's gonna be creative, but also it's going to tell the story of how like all this shit comes from us. However I want to tell that story, but I felt like my story was valid.
You know, a lot of people don't understand that the root of everything is us, though. Is the culture.
Correct.
Is everything. Like,
well, because we still call it the
that.
Culture, it's a great term if you know what we're talking about. But I don't think anybody really knows what we're talking about anymore when we say the culture.
Right.
Because it's a marketing term now.
What do you think people think it is? What do you think people...
What people really mean when they say the culture is, do black people like it? What they say and use the culture to say is like a culture of authenticity. Do you understand what I'm saying? So like when people use the culture, what they're trying to say is like, oh, it should be authentic to whatever it came out of. But the real like root of that is that like, do black people like it? Who's the final say and whether it came from the streets? The niggas that you like say are from the streets.
I know you've heard that probably in a lot of meetings or even when they come together for like projects or something. Because I know even me personally, when I worked in like a lot of entertainment industry things or like buildings or meetings when they talk about it, they always want, okay, what is this culture or this demographic? We trying to target this demographic. We're trying to target this, but they won't say necessarily like those words. So they have a lot of clever words like culture or stuff like that. And how do you like maneuvering through that, learning that, and you knowing like, okay, well, whatever I do, I know my purpose is showing that everything that you guys want to do, the culture, it comes back to us. It is the root.
Well, I think you have to, it's a double thing. It's a double part. Like, I think you have to always bank on your people, bank on yourself. I remember I interviewed my friend Rachel Omandi, and she was talking about how like black, you know, like one of the facts that we always bring up, it's like a Twitter fact, but it's a real fact, is that black people have the most buying power in America. And like, obviously we're punished for it and seen as like goblins who spend too much money. But the reality is that our money is what decides and shifts trends.
Right.
Which is why the culture ultimately comes back to us and what we like. And so I think like when you think about that, my friend Rachel was saying like, why would I ever forsake black people if they have this much power? Whether the cultural narrative at large believes that or not, I know that that's true.
Yeah.
So like me as a black business owner and as a black woman, why would I ever bank against my people? And that's how I felt. That's how I feel, and that's how I continue to feel. I'm like, if I'm trying to tell stories about people that look like me, or the people that I interact with, or the people that I have built into my community, which are not necessarily all black. Yeah. But still, it's my view of the world.
But they made up a part of your world.
Right,
they made
exactly.
Up a part of
so
your
there's an
reality.
Understanding of who I am and how that fits in the world for them. So if I know that these people have the power to shift trends, and I know that my friends have good taste and they've helped me get this far, why would I ever bank against them? And I feel like people are asked to bank against themselves on what they know to be true often, especially black and brown people. and especially in the industry of entertaining, which really just means like presenting to white people for money.
But that's the reality.
It doesn't matter though. We still watch shows. Like look at you know.
It sucks. That's what I'm saying.
My life is fortuitous because of the time in Hollywood. My life is fortuitous because people are looking on Twitter for the people that tweet. You know what I mean? Like, that's really, like, that's so great. I'm so grateful for that. But I'm telling you, like, 2 years before that, or even when I graduated from college, there was nobody doing that. Nobody was like, oh, I became a screenwriter because someone saw my Twitter. You know what I mean? So it's like...
What was the process of becoming a screenwriter back then? Like, what was the process to
It's probably the same thing, but you have to imagine that it was through contacts and through, like, actually, like, getting to know people
just being
through
there.
A network. Yeah,
it wasn't like a luck can happen of someone.
Yeah, nobody was plucking people who wrote off the internet like that.
Because it wasn't even like that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just got here.
I
just do what the fuck I'm gonna do.
But that's why I love talking with you, because this is literally how our whole conversation began. Because I was like, I'm interested in the industry of entertainment. Quite frankly, I love the progression of it. I love, at least it seems like it's more opportunities opening up for people, like you were saying, for people of us, because I think a lot of our people or people that look like us are now in those higher positions. Or is it just a facade? Like, I don't know. What do you think? Yeah.
I think there are more niggas in Hollywood working to get niggas in Hollywood, basically.
Right.
For sure.
I
don't know that they're all at the top. And I honestly think people need to stop looking for people at the top. Like, the guy who hired me was just a black man who had gotten a pilot that got picked up. You know what I'm saying? And he made a commitment. Henry made a commitment to hire black women and to have an all black world and to stick to the things that he really wanted to stick to. And, you know, and we were so blessed to have the cast that we got, you know, and like, but he stuck to that commitment, and he has done more for my career as someone who's supporting me and who's like, he's not the exec of anything, you know what I mean? He's just a guy trying to make a show. But he's like, for as long as I have this opportunity, I'm trying to like bring in as many people.
That's so
you know
tight
what I mean?
to me.
So I think sometimes it's no disrespect to people that get to the top. But to me, the further up you get, the more your hands are tied. And the less that you can actually, the more resources you have to give other people, but the less that you can wildly...
Just do what your shit.
Do what you want to do. You have to fight more battles.
Because it's a bigger...
You get to the top and you have to fight against all the white people that don't believe in what you're doing. And keep the people that are in your writers' rooms from having to do that or explain themselves. And that's your job. You know what I mean? You're the general. You go out to battle for your crew. And so you don't have as much time to pluck in, you know, that's why you hire more people so they can do that work for you and continue. But that work is only done in the spirit with which you lay it down.
That's crazy.
And so, you know, I was lucky enough to have this person who was like, I followed you. I knew I wanted you to be on the show. I knew I wanted your perspective. I knew I wanted this other person's perspective. He, you know, and like, he let me and Quinta Brunson and like we, you know, the show is almost entirely written by women.
That's
and like,
crazy.
It's like 3 black women writing on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy. But that's intentional because the person who created the show made it intentional.
Did that not happen prior to, like, recently, you think? I mean,
I
it
don't
was
know.
happening, but at least from what you're hearing, because I'm sure you working around people who maybe work in the industry or maybe have worked in other writers' rooms in the past.
Yeah,
like
I'm sure it's not... I'm sure it is now getting more frequent. I can't say that I have standard evidence either way. I've been very lucky, and I've been, like... The writers' rooms that I've worked in have been... I've done, like... I've walked into a room where there's, like, all white people, and I was like... I literally walked out. I was like, whoa. But
that was deep.
I'm sure... I mean, that's across the board for all people of color, I think, right now.
Yeah. You know, all right. I love it. I love this, how we just getting in this. It's so lit. So I want to know is, what is the process of getting a show? You broke it down to me at the dinner a little bit. You broke it down and I was like, all right, hold on. We got to talk about this on the podcast. Because I didn't know it took that much of a process. You're like, because I was like, all right, I want to come up with an idea. And I was like, all right, I'm writing the script. You're like, you don't even have to really do all that.
Yeah,
come up
so
with
I guess the first thing, I mean, it's all connections at the end of the day. So, you know, you need to get a representative to help you navigate the actual setting up of meetings with people, whoever you choose that representative to be. As long as they actually have connections, you're pretty good to go.
Of course.
And I think, honestly, it's a pitch.
Yeah.
You pitch an idea.
So like I start off I have an idea and I just write it down.
Yeah, your collaborator, whoever you are, have an idea, you pitch it, however that looks, whether it be, you hear really crazy stories where like, what's her name? Oh God, I hate her name. Leah Dunham, who like literally wrote something out on a napkin. Like some people do, like I pitched it in 2 minutes and they were into it. It just depends. It's you're selling. It's like the Shark Tank.
Shark Tank. So it's really like
it's up to you how you want to do
interview.
it, but you're just trying to get people who have money to say like, I like that idea.
And they put money behind
and then if you can convince them that you know what I mean, however many meetings of pitching it takes, if you can convince them that they should give you money, they give you money to develop, if you're doing TV, a pilot.
Right.
And so your pilot is your first episode, and it just kind of declares what your show's about. It's also like what they would show to people to see if they would be interested in your show. Mm-hmm. So yeah, development is when you then get some money to like make a show.
So is the pilot just like the first episode?
It's just the first episode. The pilot. It's just the first episode.
Full length.
Whatever it may be. Whatever the format is. 15, 11, 30, whatever.
Got you. Okay.
Hour. So you get your pilot episode, and then your pilot episode, it's the process of making an episode, which is like you write the script, you go through the network with it about what they like, what they don't like, and then you get the money to make it, whether it's live action or animated or however it's supposed to be made. And then once the pilot is made, then you either pick it up or you don't. They pick it up or they don't.
So you could literally go through the whole process of pitching it, writing it, put the whole show together. You're hiring almost actors.
Do the first episode and it doesn't get picked up.
And then nothing happens.
Yeah, it doesn't get picked up. That's what entertainment is, though. That's what I'm saying about the gamble of it all. It's like people want you to give them an algorithm, and I'm like, there is no algorithm, because it's a bunch of people being like, I think it's gonna rain, and you're like, I mean, yeah, like I don't know, like, and you never know. This is what's so aspirational about it, because it makes people, and I'm not here to quell any of that. I think that's lovely, like. If you have an idea, make it. Make it the way you want to make it, because you don't know what people want, because people don't know what they want. Right. They want something on Tuesday and they want something different on Wednesday.
Right.
That's what entertainment is.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So always go for it.
So you just have to go for it, and like you decide what the boundaries are for you.
Right.
I knew I wanted to make a film, but I also never wanted to be broke. So like I didn't really put a lot of work into, I did the assistant thing and the intern thing when I was in college, and I was so broke that I was like, oh, this is not a sustainable way to live.
How was that time in your life when you were just basically being an intern during college, working in the entertainment industry?
I think that's where I like first learned to like, that's probably where I first fucked up my sleeping schedule in college. I had like 3 jobs, and then like, God. Yeah, it was a lot. And I had an internship, and I kept an internship every semester because I had gone to white people school where they told you that you to get into college and to get a job after college, you had to like intern, and like, but nobody mentioned that interning was like a free thing that you did. People just failed to mention that until like it was time to do it, and then they were like, no, you do it for free. Get it? And I was like, no, I don't get it, because you guys are asking me to do like real hours of work. Like it's not like I like get to come and go as I please. Right. But I think that system is also made for people who are rich and can come and go as they please.
When I was at Clark, I was working at V103, the radio station out there, and I was interning, quote unquote, where it was like I was the head of like the marketing team. My job was to go around to like Spelman, go to Clark, get all the girls, and then we'll bring them to like the V103 events where like the celebrities are, and they'll like make noise and clap for the radio station when they do like the live broadcast. And then from there, I would bring them to the radio station, and then from there I became like artist relations. I got to just pick up the artists from the garage, and it was funny how they like dressed it up. And I was
but those things are real, though. Those jobs are real. That is artist relations. I mean.
But I didn't get money. I was broke. It was like I was literally hoping that a tip will fall out of a pocket and just hit the floor, and then I put my foot on it, because I can't even necessarily grab it from him because I might lose it.
The issue of that is that people pretend that the perk of being around people who are successful will net out more than money, and you're like, Rent is due on the 1st. My phone bill comes every month at the same time.
But it was a great opportunity though.
And it's
because I was there.
But
But I get it.
I think what I've learned after doing as much interning as I did and after following the system as much as I did is that I'm not here to discourage anyone from doing the best, what they think is best for their career. I think what I would like to see less of is people pretending as if that is the only way. Or as if that's going to be the only way, then we need to be way more realistic about what we're asking from people as internships. Like, to me, it's like, okay, keep internships, but you got to pay people. And I'm not saying that you got to give them a salary, but you got to give them something.
Yeah.
Like, even when I had interns at home, when I was in New York, I, gave them money for travel. I was like, yo, I'm giving you enough money for a Metro card, and like, I'll feed you when you get here, so you don't have to like, you know what I'm saying? Something that I know will make a difference in at least some part of your day. Because I'm asking you to come only on this specific day. I'm not here to make you show up randomly, or you got to be at my house every day. Like, and I'm one person, so I get it, but you're a corporation, so you can afford whatever. I'm not.
Nah, it's cool. It's cool. Nah, that was good. I can see it in your face. You're ready. That was deep, but it makes sense though. Everything you're saying makes total sense.
Like, people shouldn't have to sacrifice food and themselves and their livelihoods for good opportunities. Entertainment makes so much money. Like, people shouldn't have to make choices like that. And I know that there needs to be a barrier of entry, like something to keep, but let that be the talent then.
Yeah.
Let it be the talent and the ability to navigate the world, and let that be the reason that people don't, make it, instead of it just being like, you gotta have enough money to work for some people for free.
I think even college is like that a little bit though too. It's set up like that because
we were just talking about this in the car. We were just talking about this in the car, me and Ty, about how like college is indoctrinating you for corporate life. You know what I mean? Like, college teaches you how to fit in, how to get. You know what I'm saying? Like, I knew I wanted to be creative, so I went got an international marketing degree. Like, what does that even mean? Like, every time I think, that's why I didn't go get my degree, because I was like, I don't even know what this means. Like, it doesn't mean anything to anyone that's gonna help me. Except that all it means to them is that I went to a place where they taught me how to do things professionally. Damn. That's it. And professionally just means I know how to fall in line. If you fall in line, then the same people who have the privileges will always rise up, because they fall in line better than you. I've learned that even in corporate
America, just working for my job.
Corporate America is the number one
I've
example.
learned that. And it's crazy. Like, it doesn't even matter sometimes about like your work ethic, or it does, but it's almost like how you respond to like bullshit almost. Or like,
because even though everything is permeated with the imbalance of the systematic isms, racism, sexism, classism, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Everything is indoctrinated with that. So every time people are like, let's get in line, it's like, yeah, I'm getting in line, but this nigga has an escort. This nigga has 2 escorts. This nigga has like a fast pass where he goes through the back. So like, how you gonna sit here and pretend like if I stand on this line, I'm gonna make it inside at some point?
Wow. So what keeps you able to do it? Is it just a prize of knowing you need to cross that finish line because this is what needs to happen?
No, I was indoctrinated. So they made the mistake of sending me to white schools. Unfortunately, I didn't believe. Yeah. I'm the whole, you know what I mean? Like,
that's so tight. I feel like you're the homie that left, got the info, and was like, all right, look, this is what they need us to do.
That's really what happened. Like, every career change that I've made has been because I learned something, and I was like, nah, I gotta figure out how to get this back to niggas. Like, when I was working in media and I was doing video content and I was doing, I was a marketing manager, I was doing events and I was doing festivals and I was doing all this shit.
Who are you working for, if you don't mind me asking?
The Fader. And I left the Fader and I started freelancing, and I went and worked for like a really corporate outfit, but I was freelancing, so I only had to do it for months at a time, but they were like super political. Like, I went to the Republican National Convention in 2012. I had to do
was it McCain?
Yes. Damn. Kerry? Not
no,
Kerry.
It was John. No, was it McCain or Romney?
Romney.
It was Romney?
Yeah. What is it? No, whatever it was when they were in Tampa, I don't know. It was Obama's second term.
Got you.
So whoever he ran against.
Right.
God, doesn't that feel like a million years
It
ago?
does. I'm just thinking about it like,
Holy
damn,
shit.
that was a good time in life.
But yeah, I did that.
How was it at the Republican National Convention? What was the energy
nuts.
like?
It was nuts.
What were you doing there?
I had been doing an activation for Google. So when you do when they do the national conventions, obviously because all this stuff is happening all the time, they have like huge. Everybody who has a media outlet has like a space so that their reporters and their workers can sit and like report on this like thing happening in like really quick moments. And so I had been brought on to produce a Google space.
Got you.
And like basically in government, if you're a corporation, you have to spend the same amount in both. You have to spend the same amount in both conventions. You can't like give one party more money than the other. So I somehow ended up on the Republican National Convention team. And there
was no choice behind it. They're just like, yeah, you right here.
Yeah, you get hired for what you get hired for, you know, with this corporate shit.
Of course.
And you get paid crazy, so you're like,
fantastic. I would do it too.
But it was like one of the hardest things I ever did. But when I got down there, it was really, I mean, I don't really know how else to describe it. I was in Tampa, Florida. Like,
yeah.
Racism. I don't know. Like, there was like a hurricane warning. It was really nuts. It's like one of the wilder.
Do you think it was it's more crazier now, like in this climate?
It's probably nuts.
I'm just thinking with Trump.
I would probably get into a fight. I remember we had like multiple, there were like multiple, you know, it's the biggest company in the world kind of. So like I don't know what, I'd say kind of because I don't know where they rank right now.
Yeah.
But in 2012, like they had multiple things that we were doing. It wasn't like one space. There was like a space and a party and a thing and blah, blah, blah. And they had like a hangout where like politicians would come and do like pressers and answer questions. But remember, we're at the Republican National Convention.
Yeah, exactly.
So I remember one time they were setting up the booth for this Republican politician to come in, and people literally were like, yo, so I can't physically be here when this man comes in.
Whoa.
Because like and you know, it's like white people. You know? It's not even like me being like, nah, man, like, fuck that. It was like straight up white, especially white women being like, nah, like, I can set this up, but like I need to leave before he gets here. Like I can't be physically present while
he'll make me sick. Like physically, I can't be. It's affecting me as a human.
And I was like, oh, here we are. I got stopped by security and searched by dogs.
Wait, what?
Wild. Yeah.
At the national.
Yeah, there's a lot of security.
For what? What did they think you were? They didn't even say there's you.
No, I had a box of, I was coming to load out the space. So I had like literally like probably like 30 boxes of duct tape in the back of a truck. And we pulled up and they, it was just like a higher security day. It was like the last day and they, we like got pulled over and we got questioned and I'd like never been like, questioned. First of all, I avoid police as much as possible. Like since I was a child, I like my solution to is there gonna be police there? It's like to immediately like remove myself from the situation because I'm just like every situation I've ever seen police involved in has not been. I just never seen anything really good happen with the police. So I just got out and they were interrogating us and I was like, oh, is this what this shit is like?
Yeah.
And I was like, this is rough, but it's not any harder than like having worked with these white people for like 3 months.
I'm about to say, because I've been.
I'm like, I'm not gonna Jedi mind trick me.
Yeah,
nigga, this tape back here. I was like, I don't even want to be here. I want to go home. I've been trying to go home for like
this whole time.
I've been here 11 days. I've been trying to go home for 9 days. Like,
wait a minute, you were there for like the week and a half, almost 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm. That was a really.
How was those lunch and dinners and those breakfasts in the hotel with like all
the first night we finished 230 racks of beer.
Wow.
Me and my team.
It got that deep.
I don't even want to say how many people it was because it was not enough to justify 30.
Wow.
230 racks being
60 beers.
Yeah. I think it's true.
It needed that.
Yeah.
That was just for the first night.
And that was the first night because we had been, pre-production. It's like anything else. It's like,
Yeah.
Pre-production for something like that is like 3 months, And it had been 3 months of just like grueling work. And yeah, 30 rack first day. That's when I was like, ooh, I might not be long for this type of work. And what I ended up doing was I learned all the skills from the corporate work and the media work. Yeah. And then I was like, yo, I want to help black people do this stuff.
Right.
Like if I'm going to get yelled at and I'm going to deal with crazy shit,
yeah,
I want it to be from people that I can at least talk to and relate to.
Right.
Rather than me having to deal with the crazy shit and then your microaggressions and then also having to fight for sometimes just my humanity.
Right.
And being like, hey, you're treating me like garbage and it's not necessary. Yeah. And they're like, you should be praising God that you're here. And you're like, what are you talking about? I'm the nigga that gives you the ideas.
Peeves. Oh man, that mess irritating.
But that's corporate America
like,
too.
You should be happy, like especially when you do really good and you're a very good worker and you're attentive and you get the position and then it's like, well, you got what you want, right?
And it's like, why would you think that I just wanted to go one step? Like, why do you think that going one step up is like Olympic sport for me?
Like, nigga, I don't own this.
I worked harder than you did to get to this point. You know what I mean? Like, people are like, how are you a screenwriter? And I'm like, I say it's fortuitous, but it's also like 13 years of me busting my ass, you know? And like making sure that the whole time I was learning and being in all these marketing spaces, I was also writing and people knew that I could write and finding outlet in a space to say what I wanted to say. And when I found that space on Twitter, I used to get in trouble at work because they said I used the word nigga too much on my Twitter. And I was like,
wait, they monitored your Twitter at work?
It was, let me tell you, when you work in the loose entertainment industry, when there's no rules, people tell you that they can do things that they're not supposed to do. That's why the whole Me Too movement exists. It's a bunch of people who really who have no boundaries, and so they're like, I don't have any boundaries, so I can just pretend that you're supposed to do this. Like, I'm your boss, and you're supposed to stay late, or you're supposed to overwork on the weekends, and you're supposed to cancel on your kids so you can do this X, Y, Z. You know what I mean? There's as long as there's nobody there regulating that, who's to say what you can and cannot do? But I think that, like, for me, I just recognized that, like, I didn't want to be a part of that world. That being a part of that world was not more important to me than connecting with people that understood and shared my experiences and what I believed in and what I grew up with and what I empathize with. To me, that'll always be the more important thing. And so I bust my butt. I bust my butt.
Yeah, you work hard.
I worked my fucking ass off for a really long time for things to fall into place to where this person was able to grant me a space and an opportunity to work in something I thought would take me a few more years to get into. And now I am working in it and doing it with a bunch of people that I fuck with and my fam, honestly. You know,
one thing I admire about everything you just said too is like you literally started off when I first talking about it. Maybe one might hear that may not know you're very nonchalant about it because you're very humble. You're very humble. Like, oh yeah, I mean it's a show.
My therapist would say I need to stop, but I don't know.
You know, it's Laser Wolf. It's on a dose. It's something cool. I just write. But here's the thing. From listening to your story, you've worked so hard. This has already happened to you in your head. So you're living in the moment, but it's happened already to you. You're already thinking the next thing, the next move, the next wave. And then that's something that's almost inspiring. It's like, yeah, it's all good. But then the whole time it's like, I'm not focused. This has already happened. Because I've worked those times where you had the 3 jobs in school, still writing, still doing marketing, working the corporate. It's a lot of people that live that double life, that live that triple life, where they have to do this job to suffice this job to do the dream to hopefully this happens. And you're a prime example of it. Just what you're saying is like you did what you had to do.
Yeah.
To live your truth.
To me, nobody knows how to do what they got to do more than children of immigrants, black people, brown people in this country. Like, please, are you kidding me? Like, you want to talk about, back to the wall?
Yeah.
Ashy knuckles, like we know how to do it, and so
we thrive in it almost.
We thrive in it, and so I think the reason I want to tell my stories is to get to people to be like, you can still apply that to your dream. Like, fuck, I sound like one of those fucking self-help books.
You gotta accept it. You gotta accept that, but that's what it is.
Like, you can grind and trap. Like, you can put that trap mentality. Not, but you get what I'm saying. You can hustle for some shit that you really want to do, and believe that at the end you can net out something happy. Like, I think we're taught to survive.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The reason I brought up those groups of people is because we're taught to survive. We're taught to be very happy with whatever puts food in the mouth.
That's deep.
You know what I mean? Like,
that's deep. 'Cause
literally and figuratively,
survive.
we are taught. That's why your parents wanted you to be doctors, and then they figured out that, like, maybe, okay, enough of y'all are working in entertainment that maybe it's not so bad if my kid goes to Hollywood or whatever. Exactly. But it's unfamiliar to me. So
were your parents as immigrant or coming out here, were they real receptive of you saying, okay, I have a degree now and I'm gonna go to Hollywood?
My parents forced me to go to college. They did. I was very clear. One of the things about me growing up is, it's not random. When I was younger, I always knew that I wanted to work in entertainment, but I knew I didn't want to be famous. That's the best way I can put it.
I like that.
I always knew that. That wasn't really, I didn't really see. There was like a brief moment where I like dabbled in the idea that I might be a doctor, but I knew that I was late. I hated school so much. I was never going to do that. Yeah. But I did, what I was going to say earlier to what you were saying is that ability to think past and see the next thing is that, like, that's what being a visionary is. To me, is to be able to contextualize the things that you've seen and speak to the masses on a larger scale about what's coming next and how to, or maybe give them some sort of feeling and hope or optimism or even negativity about what's coming next if you're trying to spur an action or
right.
I
like how you said negativity too. A lot of people don't.
Negativity gets niggas moving.
Isn't that how
I'm
most
a Haitian.
of us,
that's like literally.
Isn't that how most
that's like
of us
written in our
raised?
Constitution. Like, killing your colonial masters gets you a sovereign nation. But like it's but you just like, I think the reason, I worked really hard because I did believe in something. I did believe in my ability to do something.
Right.
And so if you do believe in your ability to do something, you can apply all the hustle that they tell you to apply to corporate work, like work that like they can measure. You can apply that to the dream, but to me, it's to apply all of it. Don't just apply like the idea of like, as long as I'm touching it or thinking about it or talking about it, then it's real. One of my favorite things my writer friend ever said to me is, if you're not writing if you're not writing.
I like that.
So like,
you just out here.
Niggas be visualizing a lot, which is great. I love visualization. I really believe in that, but it doesn't matter if you don't put it into action.
Yeah.
And like, what keeps so many of us from, or leads so many people astray in not just writing, but in music, in a lot of the culture, is the idea that people lead you to water and they say like, oh yeah, like you got a good idea and I got a way to make the idea better and like blah, 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 and they talk to you about who they're gonna present it to and how they're gonna get it out there and whatever. And what's the one thing that always falls apart? The actual making of the thing. Right? Niggas be having the marketing together. They know who's gonna collab with them, who's gonna do the music, who's gonna blah, blah, blah. But then nothing ever gets written on the page or nothing ever gets like filmed. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's like,
I can even apply that to my life, to me personally, because when for years, you can ask anybody, you can ask Ty, you can ask Dre B, Reem, all my used to be niggas. I went to school for radio broadcasting at Clark Atlanta University. So I literally wanted to do radio.
You have such a good voice for radio.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Nah, but real talk. So I literally wanted to do radio. So once I wanted to do that, I would just be, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to plan it out. We're going to get this guest. But then I would just, do a bunch of drugs and get turned up and not do anything about it. It would just be a bunch of talking. Especially when I get really faded, I'll even mock play like I'm on the radio, like, let me interview you. And even Dre B will put me on his albums and have me do skits acting like I'm on the radio. Like, he tried to push me, led me to the water, but I couldn't drink. Until literally a light bulb went off a couple years ago. I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to do it myself. I'm just going to do a podcast. I'm just going to do it, get content out. Whatever. If someone sees it, they see it, they want to put me on with it, whatever, cool. And to then, I'm just going to keep doing what I know how to do, and it's going to work out because I believe in this.
And trust your audience.
Exactly. And
you make it, and whoever watches it, and whoever likes it, and whoever comments to you on it.
Right.
Those are the people that should be at the forefront of your mind when you are deciding what to make next or how to even make the next episode. Those are the only people that matter.
Right.
Like, everyone sells you the audience you don't have yet. And that's why stuff doesn't get made.
I like that.
And
I
it's
like that.
Stick with the audience you do have. The people that you know, no matter what you put out, they're gonna say, yo, I've been watching Big C since XYZ. I've been watching NIkki since X. This is what I'm saying. The guy who hired me followed my Twitter.
Right.
When I was like saying screaming nonsense. You know, I was an intern in New York. I was drunk every day. I had to basically wiped my Twitter because I was like, I don't have time for people to tell me about what dumb shit I said in 2010. Because I'm going to just be like, yeah, that was like a decade ago, bro. Like, and I don't, I don't really even want to, we could skip that.
I would hate about
that's
Twitter.
That's not part of the
back.
authentic lifestyle. Getting canceled for saying shit when you were 19 is not part of the authentic
I was going to bring
lifestyle.
that up because, side note, I was watching the Kevin Hart documentary on Netflix.
I did not watch that, but continue.
Okay, well, the Kevin Hart documentary that I watched, literally, it was talking about when he did that tweet from a long time ago, and then he basically, the whole Oscar fiasco and coming back in the whole cancel shit. And I was just like, dang, he really could. It really kind of like blew up. Because he had a movie coming out that same time around Oscar season. It was that more drama, serious movie he made, like his first one. And I was like, dang, if he would have hosted the Oscars and dropped that movie, who knows how much more money he would have made and how much like shit he lost.
So what? He's rich.
Touche.
Like, who gives a fuck?
I feel you.
You feel what I'm saying?
But
that
that's
nigga's
what
rich.
but they sold it
like,
so
I'm supposed
well.
to be mad that nigga made 30 mil and not 50 mil. I don't give a fuck about that shit. Like,
but
and I don't want to pretend to, and I don't want to put any kind of heroic. That's what celebrities hate. They hate the fact that we like when people are like, I don't care. You're rich, so I don't need to assign a hero allegory to that.
I like that.
The fuck out of here. Like,
I respect
great,
that.
You made it. Like,
because in the end, they're still
and
human.
because you made it, you have a large audience. And because you have a large audience, people expect things of you. And because people expect things of you, you should be more vigilant about shit, like maybe wiping away tweets where you said crazy shit. Or when you get caught, just say like, yeah, that was some dumb shit I said, bro. I was an idiot.
Real shit.
That was the thing. Like, I when I wiped my tweets, I still saw the things that I've said. So if someone were to bring up the shit that I said, I'm fully prepared to like eat shit and be like, yeah, that's because I grew up in this and like I believe this, and then I learned that that's not true. Y'all don't want to talk to me? Y'all don't want to talk to me for a little while? Okay. I'm going to go and sit with this money.
He didn't acknowledge it in the whole documentary.
Yeah,
he acknowledged it, but he did it. But he said it in the documentary. If you would have the documentary in there, it discussed him kind of going through like why he discovered why he should have did it. But I understand how they try to give it. They try to give it like a humility factor, and then they sold it to us through a Netflix thing, and he still made the money anyway. You want me
to be humble when literally millions of people are watching this, and you're selling. Niggas are saying it was like a Nike ad, essentially. Like
it was.
So that means that
they showed every Nike running shoe coming out.
That means that, and I'm not pocket watching, but that means that you have gotten multiple checks from this remorse, whatever the hell this is, and like you have a right to do that. You're a celebrity, and people want to watch it. I don't, so I won't. But what are you really asking me to feel? You know what I'm saying? What are you really asking me to feel? And
that's a very good question because I can't answer that.
I don't know.
After watching that, I don't really know what he was.
What are you supposed to feel?
It was
the
like
rich man won.
Yeah, because
he almost lost it, but then he woke up and he won. It's like Scrooge. It's like what?
Stop.
Like okay.
This is great.
And my favorite is my Netflix kept playing the trailer over and over for me, and I was like,
it is like a
and
Nike
I just started
commercial.
yelling. I just started yelling into my computer. I was like, I don't want to watch this. Stop showing it to me. So then they started showing me Witcher because they listen to you. I was like, I don't want to watch this.
They listen to you.
I literally started yelling. I was like, I don't want to watch this. Please stop showing it to me.
Oh
and
my god.
And then I couldn't. And then I got nonstop The Witcher. I just.
Oh my god. Well, NIkki, I got a question for you. Where do you think the future of entertainment is going? Do you think TV's out is going to be done in like 10, 15 years, 20 years? Like our kids are going to be watching
Ty,
it?
where do you think the future of entertainment is going? Come here. You said that you would gas me up, and you did nothing like of the sort.
We got Ty coming in hot.
I know. I know.
What are we talking about?
What the future of
What's
entertainment?
the future of entertainment?
What do you think the future of entertainment is?
Talking to the mic.
Oh, I turned it to
No.
I mean, I have nothing to say on that, bro. I don't know.
I mean, do you think Amazon? I was thinking because look, everything that comes out like at these film festivals everywhere, okay, like all the new movies, they all like I guess they go to like Sundance or whatever, South by or wherever the places
they don't
drop.
go to Sundance no more.
Leave me alone, okay?
I mean, I'm just
I don't know.
I'm just filling you in on that, bro.
Where do they go?
All they do is
anyway. Where they drop the film, okay? Wherever they drop.
Right.
All the people that's buying the films are these big conglomerate streaming services. Like they're buying them up quick. All the shows, all the shit. At least from what I'm seeing.
That's some.
At least from what I'm seeing. It seems like all the things is like whatever the top hits.
There's always money in Hollywood. The studios are still buying movies. Yeah. It's just more money to go around at the top right now. There are more outlets for you to sell your idea to. Mm-hmm. I don't know what that means for the future of entertainment because you can't really say it's good or bad. It's changing the schematic. You understand what I'm saying? You can't really call something you've never seen before how it's gonna end up. So that's how I feel about the future of entertainment. Like,
yeah, it's at the crib.
You know, Roddy Ricch went #1 2 weeks in a row. Like, I don't.
Hey, that shit is side note.
It's my favorite song right now.
I've watched those videos of the people like asking for the streams. I ain't never seen nothing like that before.
Pressure. Because hip hop is the #1 music in the world.
That's the future then.
So
a girl was laying in bed.
She was like, she said incredible artist. She wouldn't even say his name.
This is the best music I've ever written in my life. I would love if y'all went to go listen to that.
Bro, you can't.
Who?
What?
Don't even say the name, bro. We not dropping.
No, I said, but you can't. You can't.
We not dropping.
Stream that Roddy Ricch, bro. Shout out to Keith. Shout out to the guys, man.
Entertainment's gonna look so crazy because they done let niggas in the house, and if there's one thing we're good is clicking up and getting our ideas through. And again, like I said, like we know what's good. Right. And I think we finally have a generation of cultural taste makers and people who really love this shit and listen to it and do it in their homes, in their personal spaces with their friends and all that shit. Like, we're finally finding the pipelines into, people listening, whether it be through the literal internet, your TikTok, your Vine, your whatever, niggas who do the Instagram thing.
Well, just how you even got on and did it. Yeah, that
and then
whole
I'm
thing.
and then I only still bang with my. Wait, I can't really say bang the same way, I guess, here. Huh?
You can say that. It works.
Say that.
It works.
You're on Big Cali Road. You can say that.
Dudes,
it's a whole different situation
I'm
here.
still learning. I've only been here 2.5 years, but I'm still. So the New Yorker in me will not let me live in LA and not. I don't want to do that weird thing that people do where they want to be so authentic so nobody knows they're not from here. I just respect wherever I go. That's how I stay in places.
How was your first year or scratch that? What was your first month like from moving from New York to Los Angeles?
So I didn't move from New York to Los Angeles. It's funny that Ty's here. I moved from New York to Denver.
Yeah.
Whoa.
For 3 months. And my first day in Denver, Ty and Vince were on tour. And so I literally landed and texted Ty. I was like, "Where are you?" That's really like kind of the foundation of why our friendship is so tight because.
And you and Ty met each other in New York?
We met on tour.
On tour.
On the Rocky and Tyler tour.
Yeah.
Damn.
So when we talk about entertainment, it's also like literally like the narrative of our whole friendship. Is navigating the lines of entertainment through music and all of that stuff, watching so many of our friends navigate it as well. And so, my first day I moved there, I literally had brunch with him, and then I went to Vince's show, and then they left, and I was like, oh, wow, I'm out here by myself. But my first day in LA was so dope because I had come here to visit him.
Yeah.
I was going to get back on tour, and I came here to visit him for like a week. And he had started this new party at Soho House, and like I just showed up and I was like having the best time of my life in LA.
Yeah.
And I went home and I got the call and they were like, do you want to, I did the interview while I was here, and I got home and they were like, just come back. And so I came back Memorial Day weekend 2017, and like my first day in LA, I was like, damn, I really pulled it off. I remember I called him and I was like, I'm coming back. And he was like, yeah, of course. Like it was only a matter of time, really.
That's crazy.
And I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, nigga, you want to work. Like you can't be in the middle of the mountains. And I was like, yeah, I guess.
You know, and it's crazy because I'm coming to that point in my life right now. I was talking to Ty about that at New Year's around his birthday, and I was like, yeah, it's time to make that move to like the city. Like I've been living where I live for a while, and I'm like, it's just now I want to make that move and actually make my plan because I want to work. Like,
yeah, I
in
think
that, and it's kind of hard to work in that industry or in it when I have the option and it's literally an hour away. It's just literally an hour move and a big tax bracket up. But the tax bracket can come if I really grind. That's how I really feel. I don't know. Just by hearing people's stories.
Wait, also for the record, not to just butt in on the shit, but if somebody's watching this that doesn't know me, I'm not suggesting that niggas move to Los Angeles. That is not my shit, bro, at all. Real niggas, yes, come through.
Yeah.
Pull up, let's get to it. But
Yeah.
all you other niggas, go home, bro. Everything that you expect from the city is not gonna get given to you.
there was
bruh. Fuck you niggas, go home, bro.
There was a study actually that more people are leaving New York and LA and a couple other cities. Like more people are leaving the city than coming in. But yes, no, Ty is very anti-move to LA.
I have to do it. I have to personally.
Ipso
do it.
facto,
Yeah.
I am also very anti-move to LA, but I still be, me. I'm always like,
Yeah.
My friend described LA as, well, no, you're a big C. It's not controversial to say this. My friend yesterday, who's moving from New York, was like, yo, LA is like Israel for niggas. Like niggas are just coming here like
The promised land.
the promised land.
They come for the blessings.
The promised land.
Yeah.
But
It's
at
deep,
the same
'cause I know a
time,
lot of people
we're not
that-
coming alone. You know what I'm saying? We're
Yeah.
not the only motherfuckers coming out here.
I think we set a foundation up out there though. It's like if you're gonna come out there right. Come out there correct and make it make sense to me.
Well, yeah,
Like,
if you
don't
come out-
just
come out
be
there, come
making
out to
reckless
work.
moves to a situation that will eat you alive.
Well, you just
It's
come
no
out there
plan.
to work.
Yeah.
One of the realest things that Nakan told me this. And I remember I had just moved to LA. We were at what was that, Delicious Pizza for like a Vince show.
They have great pizza there.
And the homie Nakan said to me, he was like, yo, he was like, you moved out here, and so many people move out here and they get caught up in like looking like they're doing stuff and like get caught up in the bullshit. And he was like, you came out here and you just started hustling. And I was like, yo, this city is actually prime for hustling because it also reminds you to relax. Like I've never been in a more like relaxed, you know what I mean? Like be
Right.
about your shit and just relax. Like this is
Don't
not
be
New York.
extra
This is
out.
not New York where you can just like time motherfuckers and just like beat your hands on the thing like, hey man, 5 minutes, like I need my stuff. Like, like it's like out here niggas are like, hey bro, like this is when the meeting's gonna be. Be ready when you fucking show up, but like don't like rush me. You know
Right.
what I mean? I don't owe you time.
That's
So
deep.
that's probably the best part.
How long did it take you to come to those realizations out here?
For me, it was really easy because I moved out here. I was already 31 years old. So
Right.
when I moved out here, I was looking for that. And I had been coming out here for work for like, probably like 4 years. I was probably coming to LA like 2 or 3 times a year for work.
Yeah.
Out there by then. So I think I just already knew like, yo, I want to live somewhere where I can make more money and work less.
Right.
And like work smarter instead of harder. Because in New York, you can work really hard and make no money.
That's you know what's
There's
deep
a lot of
about New York?
motherfuckers in New York.
Everything costs so much out there.
Yeah.
And like even the space for like apartments. Cause I remember I interviewed one of my homeboys, Omar London, that's he's from New York and he moved out here and we were just talking about the similarities of moving from New York to LA. And he said it was more affordable in LA than it was in New York.
You get more space in LA. You get more for your money. And you can live alone, which is not an option in New York. Like, people live together. you know? People live together well into ages where they probably would prefer to live alone.
Yeah.
And like, you know, there's just more return. So like, even if it feels like, and certain things are much cheaper, like Uber is much cheaper here, which makes a difference. Like certain things are very, like the city's much more spread out, so people are less expecting you to show up to other sides of the city. Whereas in New York, you have to, like, you take an Uber to go from one, you know, neighborhood in Brooklyn to another because there's no train that gets you there really swiftly. So like, yeah, like you don't spend as much money every time you leave your house in LA as much as you do in New York.
I don't know. I remember at one point I was like,
you leave your house in New York, you're spending $40 minimum.
Just to leave.
Just when you leave your house.
That's so deep.
$40 minimum.
I'm not ready.
Minimum. Like, if you are not like armed to the teeth with your MetroCard, you know, like I have a routine.
Yeah.
And even if you have a routine, you're coming off $25 at least for the day. But like every time I go home, I just went home, and like every time I leave, I'm like, God damn, I just spent $100. I've been here for 3 days and I spent $300, and I'm not even doing anything super wild. And like, to be fair, like my life, I drink more than the average person, or I go out, or I eat out more, but I don't have kids. So,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, my money is to spend on me. My bills are paid. Like,
yeah,
and I make a pretty good, decent amount of money doing the thing that I do. So like, but I'm like, God, $300?
I couldn't do that
like,
every day.
And I didn't do nothing.
just to walk around and just live and just eat and be good.
But what you get it back in is the experience.
Right.
There really is no other place you're gonna live where it's gonna look like that. So
right.
People really think that people are being like, when we say the experience, but it's true. Like the same way that I can say, like in LA, I get paid more and I work less.
Yeah.
I focus on things that matter, I guess.
Man. Well, NIkki, man, so what's next for you, man? Like what we got going on in the near future coming on with you?
Blaze Wolf season 2 coming out this year.
Okay.
I think in the fall, with Vince once again as our beloved Laser Wolf.
And it's Vince Staples.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And doing this show, Intergalactic, for Cudi with Netflix, and that, I don't know when that'll be out. Maybe next year. And yeah. Working on some pilots, just grinding it in.
Well, I look forward to getting some shit in with you, because you know we could be here all day.
Crab.
Yeah. Oh my God, we ate the most fire.
We ate a King Seafood Tower. I don't know if you guys know what that is, but
can you break down what that is before we go?
King Seafood Tower.
Ty, come back here. Come back here for the breakdown. This is the official. By the way, this is West Side Ty for people that don't know.
We ain't eating no crab, bro.
Oh, we ate lobster. We ate spiny lobster.
We just don't say that word, bro.
Oh yeah, I forgot how you feel about crab.
Oh my Lord,
I forgot you like the only person who loves seafood who hates crab.
I can't say that word.
Like
what was can you break down the Seafood Tower for the people real quick?
It's cold seafood.
Yeah.
It's cold seafood. 3. It's a tower. It's like the platter you see with the 3 levels.
Mm-hmm.
The top level is a full lobster, like broken up.
Oh
and
my
then
God.
The middle level is
so
like
fire.
What did we get? We had like
I remember it was
clams with
prawns,
umi,
like the big prawns, and it was the good
the big
oysters.
prawns.
Two
kinds of prawns, head on and cocktail, I believe. And then we had
how many kinds of oysters did you say?
12. We had 4 types of oysters, right? 6 types of oysters.
6 types of oysters.
And little neck clams.
Yeah, little neck clams. Scallops.
Then we get the 4-pound lobster at the end, like
Yes.
just to top it off.
We got the 4-pound spiny lobster.
spiny,
Grilled.
Spiny. Gross.
mesquite grilled.
Yes.
With the good garlic butter.
With the good garlic butter.
And you can see all this on Big Cali Treats
Talk about the
page.
bread, P.
Oh,
Talk
the
about
bread.
the bread.
Talk about the bread.
Bread. Oh, wait, it had the salted.
Talk about the Pinot.
Come back. Talk about the tower, my nigga.
The tower.
Crash
All right,
that shit, bro. Shout out Muhammad Atta, bro. No, actually, yes. Nigga Dipset all day, bro. Feel me?
This is what you invited.
I love West Side Ty.
Nah, that
cold
Cobra was too big, bro. You supposed to get the regular joint,
It's
bro.
jittery
Now
as
I'm over
fuck
here.
right now.
I was
It
just
was
sitting there.
deep.
Yeah, too much meat.
The
Oh, you
seafood-
drank the cold brew? You're lit right now. The
my
cold
God.
brew hard.
Did we have
I gotta
crab
go home,
claws?
P.
No.
We did have. It was
We did?
claws.
Yeah, we did have
we
claws.
did.
We had everything you could have in the ocean.
We had
At
like,
one
I don't know if
point.
you ever been to a basketball game and
Had
go
no
to the
dolphin.
like,
We didn't have
go
no
to like a
dolphin.
had no
buffet.
dolphin.
We had the seafood tray.
The seafood tray is lit. Oh my God, man,
That was a great meal.
It was
and we
an
had
amazing
good Pinot
meal.
and good
2
rosé.
bottles of wine.
Yeah.
2 bottles of wine.
What kind?
I believe it was a Pinot Grigio and a rosé, right?
It was a Pinot Noir, I think.
Pinot
It was
Noir.
red, and it was a rosé.
I was almost
And we had
there.
martinis.
Paired.
Paired. We
Y'all had the
martinis.
dry martinis with the
did.
olives with the blue cheese in the middle.
He
I
had the blue cheese. I didn't do it.
It was my birthday, man.
I was like, he was
Oh,
going
and then
out,
we
and I was
ended
doing
it
all
with
that.
the salted caramel banana.
Ooh, I
Goddamn
forgot
right,
about
with the
that.
pudding, yeah.
The salted caramel
we did
bread
eat
pudding.
That was a wonderful
With the
meal.
birthday song of love.
That was a wonderful meal.
Yeah.
That was an amazing
Yeah,
meal.
it was good.
But see? Now imagine that meal on TV.
And that's where the idea comes from. Boom. Right there. If y'all
Imagine
steal
that
it-
meal
If y'all steal
on
it, y'all know
TV.
where it came from. And I want my check. Nah, man, but Nikki, man, we could be here all day talking, man. I know
Thanks
we
for
could
having
go to,
me.
but I need you to come back again. Ty, I need the 2-hour block with just you.
Yeah, we gonna do the art boom shit too.
Yeah, the double block. You might just do the whole weekend. We'll do
Yeah.
Saturday, you, then Sunday we record it. Imran's with
we
it.
just camp out. We'll DJ out here. We'll probably do a party at the Fox or something. Go stupid.
This nigga's trying to relive his youth over here.
Let's go, man. But for all your podcast needs, go to definitely productiveculture.com/podcast for audio visual needs. They'll hook you up. Put in how did you hear about us section. Put in Big Cali World. For all your clothes, go to utvlifestyle.shop. I think they almost sold out, so you better hurry up. For real, for real. And definitely the Better Mill album's out. Go ahead and get that streaming on all your services. I'm on the intro and it's fucking lit.
Slaps.
I
It's
love
fucking
your
slaps. It's lit.
CJ back for you niggas, bro. He's on next this time.
Hey,
bro.
it gets crazy. I'm glad, man. Trust
Yeah.
me.
Man, I watched the
Yeah.
first episode of this podcast. I never thought I'd be on this podcast.
That's so. I'm so happy you're on it, man. Thank you so much for
Thanks for
coming.
having me. I had a
Honestly,
great
man.
time.
Feel me? As Big Cali World, you niggas just live here, bro.
For sure, man. But definitely, and for this podcast and Argoon Radio, go to BigCaliWorld.com. Available on all streaming services and YouTube. I think I said everybody. Did I get everything? Okay, yeah, I had to look. I'm a little wavy. It's been a little good, but anyway, feeling good, feeling great. It's the man with the plan, ain't Clark Kent. But some ladies do call me Superman. It's your boy, Big Cali. Let's go, Big Cali World. Thank you. Peace.
Woo!
Big Cali world all the time, extra lit, extra lit, extra lit. Big Cali world all the time, extra lit, extra lit, extra lit. Big Cali world all the time, extra lit, extra lit, extra lit. Big Cali world all the time, extra lit, extra lit, extra lit. Ain't nobody fresh like C, built like bear, nigga strong like tree, strong like Kush, too hype like E. Entourage stick so thick like sheet. First class bitch, you know all 3 seats. Got the pass like free, talking free like cheap. You gon' cheat, but he bigger than whatever you gon' be. We gon' stack like cheese, that's 100-something G, nigga. Big Cali world all the time, extra lit, extra lit, extra lit. Big Cali world all the time, extra lit, extra lit, extra lit. Big Cali world all the time, extra lit, extra lit, extra lit. Big Cali world all the time, extra lit, extra lit, extra lit.